Congressional massage. Plus, it's detachable for deep relief anywhere you need it. Experience the true remedy for your pain and stiffness.
The Charlie Kirk Show starts now.
So 5 seats. What would 5 seats in Texas do for Republicans in Congress overall?
You might think 5 seats is just 5 seats, but keep in mind this. Margin to spare for the House majority. In 2020, the Democrats had 4 seats. 2022, Republicans had 4 seats. This time around, 2 seats for Republicans out of the 2024 election. 5 seats can make all the difference in the world, and that is why Republicans in Texas providing 5 pickup seat opportunities could, in fact, make the difference between Republicans losing control of the House of Representatives and maintaining control of the House of Representatives.
And what kind of economic data does the Fed need to see before you'll be ready to cut? I mean, do you need inflation back nearly to target? Are there other things in the pricing that you look for? Do you need to see weakening in the job market? What kind of things are you looking for?
I mean, ultimately, it could be any of those things, right? But you know, if you saw that the risks to the two goals were moving into balance, if they were fully in balance, that would imply that you should move toward a more neutral stance of policy. This is the special situation we're in, which is we have two-sided risk to both of our goals.
On Sunday, Cincinnati City Councilwoman Victoria Parks commented on the video of the attack, writing, quote, "They begged for the beatdown. I'm grateful for the whole story." Look, we called her office to clarify what she meant, but we did not hear back, and we know well what she meant.
You know, this is the war for the future of our country and the soul of our democracy. You know, what the Trump administration has done is kick millions of people off of health care, make a bunch of seniors and veterans and kids go hungry, and they've obliterated due process and through our immigration actions that they've been taking. And so this is all-out war for what does our country stand for and where are we going in the future? And so, you know, I'm all for fair and independent maps as long as we're all playing by the same rules. But if Republicans want to do partisan gerrymandering in states like Texas and Florida and the like, then Democrats need to do the same in blue states like California to level out the playing field. We can't go forward, given the state of our country, with our hands handcuffed behind our back and not playing by the same rules. It's just not okay anymore.
This, in fact, could win or maintain control for the Republicans in the House of Representatives. What are you talking about? Well, Texas has 38 congressional districts. Look at those that Trump won last year by at least 10 percentage points. Under the current lines, it's 25. Under the proposed lines, it's 30. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 potential pickup opportunities for the Republican Party. They are playing hardball at this particular point. And right now, it seems to me that Democrats are actually playing close to the Little League Pee-wee.
Just over a year ago, I launched my campaign for President of the United States. 107 days, traveling the country, fighting for our future. The shortest presidential campaign in modern history. It was intense, high stakes, and deeply personal for me and for so many of you. Since leaving office, I've spent a lot of time reflecting on those days, talking with my team, my family, my friends, and pulling my thoughts together. In essence, writing a journal that is this book, 107 Days. With candor and reflection, I've written a behind-the-scenes account of that journey.
In support of our goals, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to leave our policy interest rate unchanged. We believe that the current stance of monetary policy leaves us well positioned to respond in a timely way to potential economic developments.
Some voting shifts within Texas might be adding fuel to this.
Exactly right. They wouldn't necessarily be able to do this if, in fact, Republicans, Donald Trump did not do so much better among Latino voters last time around than he did in 2020, because 4 of the pickup opportunities are majority Hispanic seats. In 2024, get this, Donald Trump actually won Latino voters by 10 points in Texas. In 2020, it was Joe Biden who won him by 17 points. That's nearly a 30-point switcheroo. So this, in my mind, is fueling these potential pickup opportunities for Republicans. As I said at the beginning of this, Republicans are playing hardball. It's going to be interesting to see if Democrats can actually answer this, or are they going to be stuck in the little leagues.
One thing we are watching is that Donald Trump maintains his support among Latino voters, but that is to come.
That will be to come. It will be answered soon enough.
Tired of the hassle and high costs of selling a home? We can help. At Ideal Agent, we'll connect you with a top local agent that'll sell your home fast for top dollar, and all this for as low as a 2% commission.
We got the top dollar for our house and the lowest commission that I could have imagined. The house sold in 2 days. It was so exciting for us.
Ideal Agent is available nationwide. There's no obligation, and best of all, our service is completely free. Call today or visit idealagent.com.
Your wallet is always in danger. Criminals can hack your information without you even knowing. Introducing Slim Mint, an ultra-thin RFID blocking wallet that keeps your cards and cash protected. Slim Mint uses the latest RFID blocking technology to prevent thieves from stealing your info. It's ergonomically designed to optimize space and keep your belongings organized. With the auto-locking Slim Mint, your cards and money stay securely in place. It has a built-in cash clip and a flexible outer band to fit your additional cards and cash. Call or click now and get Slim Mint for just $29.99. Order in the next 5 minutes and you'll get an instant $10 discount. So it's only $19.99. But wait, due to rising costs, this may be your last chance to get Slim Mint at this low price. There's a strict limit of 3 Slim Mint wallets while supplies last. Don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-608-4172. Call or visit slimmintwallet.com. So call 1-800-608-4172 now.
Every day, there's a battle for your mind raging. Information coming from every angle with the will to deceive. Fear not. You found the place for truth. The voice of a generation that still has the will to believe in the greatest country in the history of the world. This is the Charlie Kirk Show. Buckle up. Here we go.
Okay, everybody, radio stations across the country, welcome to the Bitcoin.com mobile studio. Honored to be with you guys as always. You can email us freedom@charliekirk.com and subscribe to the Charlie Kirk Show podcast page. There is a generational realignment that has been occurring the last couple of years. And we are one of the few shows that is covering this on a regular and a daily basis. It goes to show that the younger demographic is leading the right-wing realignment all across the West. And some new numbers have come out that are just dramatic, that are worthy of us leading with. This is from a Pew Research survey. It shows incredible partisan swings just from 2023 to 2025. The most notable of all of them is 18 to 29-year-old men, we can put it up on screen, have swung 44 points. That's right. Men ages 18 to 29 have become 44 points more conservative, more Republican over the last 2 years. I've been focused on this issue my entire life. My life's work has been realigning this. My life's work has been trying to take the younger demographic from its adherence and its attachment to leftism and bring them home towards a pro-American, nationalist, conservative perspective. And what's so fascinating is that young ladies are also moving in major numbers. Young ladies, according to Pew Research, have moved 14 points since 2023. Young men, ages 30 to 49, 15 points. Now, what is driving this? Well, we've gone through the toxic masculinity. Young men are told that they're fascist and terrible just because they lift weights and they want to be a man in American society. Part of this is economic. Part of this is also the kind of cultural, religious forces. The left has become so powerfully uncool and unlikable. Evidenced by, I'm sure they're going to do their best to try to roast us on the upcoming South Park episode, but I think the way we're taking it is the way that conservatives should take comedy. The left is mad. They are angry that I am not angry. The left is mad that I am not mad that South Park is going to do their thing. But more interesting, and this fires up a lot of people in this audience, but it's important. Let's put the chart up back on screen. Again, everyone in this audience, you are exempt from this. But this is a very important trend that is worthy of appreciation and study. That since 2023, older men above the age of 65 have become 6 points more Democrat, Older women, only 2 points more Democrat. So you look at the realignment. As baby boomers have become a little bit more Democrat over the last couple of years, not you in this audience, but it's true. The data shows this. Young people are moving dramatically. And we've done this kind of bit a couple times. But if you are an older American, you should want to see this change. Young white men, 20-year-olds, are more likely to vote Republican than white men at 70. Goes to show what we're doing at Turning Point USA. It's not just working, it's saving the entire bedrock of the civilization. The work that we are doing at Turning Point USA, and by the way, we have a new staff training right now. We're adding 70 new people to our full-time Grassroots Army to start high school chapters across the country. Club America groups. You see, this is one thing the left doesn't understand. The left just thinks that I'm kind of like, oh, he's just an internet personality. He goes to college campuses, he goes viral. That is like 1% of what I do. We have a standing, well-financed, well-trained, motivated, gritty army of organizers that start high school chapters, college chapters, events. We have a pastor's training coming up next week. Go 466 up on screen. That right there is just new full-time staffers that we are adding. That's like the Gen Z summit that they did last week. And you see right there, that's just the full-time. We have 1,000 full-time people on payroll at Turning Point USA. And so when people donate $5, $10, $5,000 to Turning Point USA, you are financing full-time bodies on the ground to fight for the culture war. That looks like the Voters of Tomorrow Summit. But let's go back to the data. This is not a criticism of baby boomers. It's not a criticism of a lot of you in this audience because you guys are the exception. But it does go to show that the reason why the country has moved profoundly right is a bottom-up youth-led movement. The media has done a little bit of coverage of this, but not nearly enough. Not nearly what is justified. It is the greatest generational realignment since Woodstock. And the last gasp, who is holding the line for the Democrats? It really is women. It really is 30 to 40-year-old women. You see, the left always assumed that they could play the waiting game. Just wait, and the conservatives will die, and young people will be liberal forever. They thought that time will inevitably benefit them. Turns out they did not factor in what we are doing at Turning Point USA. They did not factor in this grassroots campus infrastructure that we have been able to put together, the billions of views that we have on TikTok and Instagram. Now, many young people are conservative, and conservatives are having way more kids than liberals now. So the liberals are depopulating themselves. The liberals are too busy getting abortions, worshiping contraceptives, having maybe one kid and 5 dogs, where we as conservatives are the one with big families. We're going back to church. Religion matters. In 10, 20 years from now, the math does not look very good for the liberals. And that is why they had to try to keep the borders open under Joe Biden. You see how this all connects together? Keep the borders open under Joe Biden because conservatives were having kids, so we have to bring in a third world voting population so that third world voting population can be more loyal and adherent to our agenda. Meanwhile, conservatives are the ones they hate because they hate the body politic of the United States of America. And they want to import the people that they do not like. Democrats have always struggled winning white voters. And you just see some of these images from our last campus tour. And we are just a couple weeks away from the restart of our fall campus tour. And I can tell you right now, this campus tour coming up in the fall, it's going to be the most fun, most watched, high profile. And this data is remarkable. Now, you can make an argument that part of the Democrat resistance is within the AARP crowd. 65 plus men are now D+6 since 2023. Boomers have not really gotten over their opinions of Trump because it's all about media consumption. If you are getting media from cable television, again, Fox News is awesome. I was honored to be able to host it this last weekend, but exempted from Fox News, if you're watching even network TV, CBS, ABC, NBC, CNN, you're going to have a different worldview. I call it the white noise machine. Mockingbird media. I don't think people truly appreciate that our spring tour did bigger numbers than the fall tour, which was ahead of an election. More views, more attendees, more impact. What you're looking at through this generational data right now is not just historic. It is hope. It is not just that which will be written down in the history books. It should give you the most hopeful idea and a picture of a future. In fact, if your kind of baby boomer counterparts are going to the left and your grandkids are going to the right, that should make you stand up in roaring applause. Every time the left says toxic masculinity, another 20-year-old registers Republican. You know, we were a little worried over the last couple of weeks. Boy, are younger men going to leave the Trump coalition? The Democrats did all the work for us the last couple of days. Their reaction to the Sydney Sweeney ad, that has just like further made young men conservative, or at least anti-leftist for an entire generation. No one wants to be part of that entire political project. What has happened is that things have become so big, so impossible to ignore, that even our debate clips have become a cultural phenomenon on South Park. The left, they are a party of killjoys. They're a party of hall monitors. They are a party of shrill, childless women that want to scold you for not using the right pronoun. This is a significant cultural shift, not just politics. Gen Z is drinking less, they're smoking less, they're lifting more, they're healthier, they're not ashamed of being white and Christian, and it's cool to be conservative right now. And they're going back to church. We'll talk more about this in a second. I want to tell you guys about Patriot Mobile. Go to patriotmobile.com/Charlie. That is patriotmobile.com/Charlie. Patriot Mobile is amazing. Are you worried about coverage? Don't be. Patriot Mobile uses all three major U.S. networks. If you have service in this country today, you have good or better coverage with Patriot Mobile. Go to patriotmobile.com/Charlie. That is patriotmobile.com/Charlie. So check it out right now at patriotmobile.com/Charlie. It is an American-led cell phone company that you guys can de-wokeify your cell phone bill. Go to patriotmobile.com/Charlie. That is patriotmobile.com/Charlie. Email us as always, freedom@charliekirk.com. It's not just history. It is hope. You are starting to see what America will look like 10 years from now. And it's looking red, white, and blue. We'll be right back.
Mama, look. It's just like our new house. I hope you have an American Home Shield warranty. Leaky toilet? Fixed. Clogged AC coils? Fixed. Oven beyond repair? Ta-da! If AHS can't fix your covered item, then replace it, no matter its age.
A warranty is smart.
Oh, a happy family. Is that us? Too much. American Home Shield. Sign up today at ahs.com.
When the kids turn unholy, Harrelson's Own keeps my patience divine.
When work flies out of control, Harrelson's Own keeps me cool as a cucumber.
The device madness never ends. But Harrelson's Own keeps me zen.
Life can be chaotic, but Harrelson's Own CBD helps keep you calm through any storm. Harrelson's Own consistently delivers your full mind and body homeostasis. It's an organic, full-spectrum CBD and a refreshing oral spray. Our nano-emulsified technology makes it completely water-soluble, so your body absorbs it immediately. You'll start to feel it in seconds, not 60 minutes. It just makes everything feel better.
And it helps me just take the edge off. It helps me relax. It helps me be there with my kids.
I swear I'm like a mental ninja. Like nothing can throw me off balance.
No matter how many things come at me, I'm like, boom, handled, next. I'm like crushing it all day long.
Well, some people take it for a release from stress. Some take it to get rid of pain. Others just take it for general well-being. For me, Brett Harrelson, it just makes everything about my day a little better.
Give your life a boost.
It's just the best you've ever felt in your natural state.
My happiness in a bottle is the best.
So to sum it all up, you're going to feel the benefits quickly, love the way it feels, and like the way it tastes. Pay a fair price, and you're going to thank us for it. We are so confident you're going to be satisfied that we back every bottle with a 60-day, 100% money-back guarantee. Give Harrelson's Own a try, from our family to yours. Go to HO.com to order Harrelson's Own now. Yep, it's that easy. Just our initials, HO.com.
What's your plan, huh? Do you have one? Talking about what is your plan for a reliable source of power when the next emergency strikes. Well, check this out. It's called the Patriot Power Generator 2500, and right now it's $500 off at 4 Patriots. See, they took a page out of the military's playbook for portable solar power, and now we get to use it in our own homes. What's even better is that this solar generator can power critical appliances like your fridge, your microwave, and your CPAP machine, so that you're prepared for whatever emergency strikes next. Go to 4patriots.com now and save $500.
From the campus to the car, the bullhorn to the microphone, it's the Charlie Kirk Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Email us, as always, freedom@charliekirk.com, and subscribe to our podcast. That is the Charlie Kirk Show podcast page. I want to tell you guys about whyrefi.com. Whyrefi is amazing. You guys can be able to refinance your student loan debt very quickly at whyrefi.com. You see, it may not be available in all 50 states. You just call 888-YREFI34 or log on to YREFI.com. That is YREFY.com. Do you have co-borrowers? Well, YREFI can get them released from the loan, and you can give mom or dad a break. If you go to YREFI, you can read testimonials from other people who have been where you are and how they've escaped. You can even see what their monthly payments were versus what they are now. Go to YREFI.com. If your private student loan debt is keeping you up at night and ruining your life, it doesn't have to. Just call YREFI. Go to YREFI.com. It's not a debt settlement company, and they work with each borrower individually. Remember, they supported our Student Action Summit, our campus tours. They have stepped up, and they have been so good to us. And so if you know anybody in your circle that might be suffering from private student loan debt, they're the ones. Refer YREFI to your friends, to your family members, your niece, your aunt, your nephew. Just think about it. The next time that comes up in a topic conversation, text YREFI, YREFY.com. Go to YREFI.com. Okay, everybody, welcome back. Email us, as always, freedom@charliekirk.com, and subscribe to our podcast. I want to dive a little deeper into this because, again, all this news that we are seeing, I'm interested in trends right now. Where are things trending? And the trends are holding. This was not just a Trump phenomenon. And, a lot of Democrats, they're trying to show like, well, I can lift weights and, me bench pressing, that's going to win over younger men. I do think that there is a direct correlation between someone's testosterone and their politics. I would love to have a study done on this. On young men, the lower their testosterone, the more likely they are to be Democratic. Of course, it's probably not a one-on-one. It's not a one-to-one. Oh, Shane says it's scientific. Oh, great. I bet that the lower your testosterone is, the more likely you are to be controlled. To be, yes, I'll take the 9th booster shot. Please boost me harder, daddy government. Yes, Pfizer, I'll do whatever you want. Where the higher testosterone rate, you're like, no, I'm not actually I'm going to think for myself. I might not agree with you all the time. The lower testosterone, the more compliant you are. And there's a lot of reasons why testosterone rates are going down. Microplastics is probably the biggest. Our diet is crummy. And so the more that we are seeing the Democrats pander, they're actually fighting biology. Democrats are not going to be able to win over high testosterone men because they're too self-directed. Here's the study. Testosterone eliminates strategic pro-social behavior through impacting choice consistency in healthy males. Said differently, quote, we show that exogenous testosterone fully eliminated strategic, feigned prosociality and thus decreased submission to audience expectations. Said differently, the lower your testosterone is, the more likely you are going to be subservient and compliant. Our republic needs alpha men. And basically the translation is men stop faking it when their T is high. It's a good way to kind of put the translation. But you kind of extrapolate this to our politics. Young women are moving to the right as well. Put this up because young women want high testosterone men. I think that's the way we should frame it now is, hey, young ladies, do you want a high testosterone or a low testosterone man? That's a very simple question. Young ladies, if they want a low testosterone man, they want someone that they can control. Young women have become 14 points more Republican since 2023. And I think our Young Women's Leadership Summit at Turning Point USA, our Turning Point Action Outreach, I think it's largely to credit for it. I think we have been on the cutting edge. Alex Clark has done such a great job. There's so many hilarious yet sad articles by miserable liberal women who just can't find a guy that they can find compelling. They just can't do the math. The men that they are dating have testosterone too low. All the men in their dating pool are low T soy weirdos. And you look at our events, they're jocks, they're frat bros, they're normal dudes. They have a Zyn pouch in one hand and they are a protein shake in another. One of my favorites is when these guys come up in their kind of athletic gear to go ask a question, and they come with kind of a big protein shake. Homemade, that's how you know it's legit. And there's so many videos of women saying, why are all the hot guys Republican? Because the high testosterone guys are Republican. I'm trying to make sense of it for you. So if you want a high testosterone, entrepreneurial, risk-taking, value-creating, defender of the family husband, then you got to get out of the Democrat voting pool. And for young ladies out there, stop being Democrat. If you want to find an attractive man, a self-directed man, if you want to find one that will protect your family, then stop being a Democrat. I'm sure there are a lot of young Democrat ladies out there that will see this clip. If you want to be able to find the man of my dreams who will be able to protect me and be able to do pull-ups, well, then you got to get out of the low testosterone dating pool. The Democrat Party owns the low testosterone dating pool. I mean, you look at some of those, that clown show that tried to follow me around the country. Remember that clown show, that circus act that came? I mean, you could blow those men over. Just, it's like there's nothing there. Yeah, the Un-F America clown show. You look at their men. Whoa, that's androgynous to say the least. They're part of the whole Subaru crowd, the yoga mat coalition. It's like, look, America needs a testosterone reset. Yeah, I mean, David Hogg's a good example, but some are other those YouTube trolls that follow me around. I mean, look, David Hogg, look at this pinnacle of American masculinity that we could put up. I mean, come on, and that's that right there. Young ladies don't want this. I mean, they don't, and they look at that like, ew, okay. I mean, some young ladies do. The young ladies who want that, they're the ones that want to control the relationship. So they want to mess up the entire natural order of how marriages should be constituted, which of course is scriptural and biological, where the man is the head of the household. David Hogg would not be the head of a household. Some young ladies want to be alpha women. That's fine if you want to do that, but I would caution you a little bit. That doesn't work out very well. Most young ladies, though, they want to be provided for. They want to be taken care of. They want to have kids. The problem is not always political. It's biological. And testosterone explains a lot of it. The Democrats, they own the low T market. We'll be right back.
Be part of a historic event. Join Lech Walesa, Nobel Peace Prize winner and one of the world's greatest leaders, on his first ever grand lecture tour across North America. Meet the global hero who changed the course of history and inspired millions. Now, the greatest challenges of our time lie ahead. Walesa will take you behind the scenes of one of history's greatest turning points to draw lessons for a future we must build together. Register now at historyexplorer.com.
Tired of the hassle and high costs of selling a home? We can help. At Ideal Agent, we'll connect you with a top local agent that'll sell your home fast for top dollar, and all this for as low as a 2% commission.
We got the top dollar for our house and the lowest commission that I could have imagined. The house sold in 2 days. It was so exciting for us.
Ideal Agent is available nationwide. There's no obligation, and best of all, our service is completely free. Call today or visit idealagent.com.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America, and get this. Did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them, Pat Boone,
gave you the number.
What do you do when your tire goes flat and there's no air anywhere? You reach for Bullseye Pro, the smarter, faster, hands-free way to fill it up with air. Bullseye Pro is equipped with a rechargeable lithium-ion power plant. So fast and so convenient. It's like the power of an air compressor in the palm of your hand. Look, you can inflate all 4 tires on a single charge. It has a built-in smart pressure digital sensor that gauges and automatically stops when the set tire pressure is reached. Easily inflate pool toys, exercise balls, and more. Call or go online now and get the complete Bullseye Pro inflation system for the factory direct price of just $79.99. Plus, we'll ship your entire order free, and we'll give you a 50% discount on a second one. Order now.
To order, call 1-800-976-9718. That's 1-800-976-9718, or go to getbullseyepro.com.
I'm Bo Davidson with your Real America's Voice News headlines. Former Vice President Kamala Harris announced Wednesday that she will not run for governor of California, ending months of speculation about her next move after losing to Donald Trump last year. Harris said she made the decision after, quote, deep reflection and wants to keep serving outside elected office for now. Sources close to her say the choice preserves her option to run for president in 2028. Harris is considering nonprofit work and helping elected Democrats nationwide in the near term. Her decision leaves California's governor's race wide open as several prominent Democrats jump in. Harris promised to share more about her future plans soon. Meanwhile, a Cincinnati city councilwoman is facing intense backlash after appearing to defend a violent downtown attack in a Facebook comment. Under a video of the brutal beating, an account linked to Councilwoman Victoria Parks wrote, quote, "They begged for that beatdown, and I am grateful for the whole story," unquote. The comment sparked outrage online, with police union leaders and state lawmakers calling for her resignation and accusing her of celebrating violence. The incident, which left a woman unconscious on a city street, has been widely shared on social media. Parks, a democratically endorsed member who is not seeking re-election, has not responded to multiple requests for comment. As anger builds, community leaders are demanding accountability ahead of November's election. And also today, a Virginia city councilman was set on fire inside his workplace Wednesday after a man poured gasoline on him, police said. Danville Council member Lee Vogler, 39, was attacked by Shotzi Michael Buck Hayes, 29, who is now charged with attempted first-degree murder. Vogler was airlifted to a burn center, and his condition remains unknown. Authorities say the attack was personal and not politically motivated. The community and city leaders say they are heartbroken and praying for Vogler's recovery. Meanwhile, an explosive document declassified this morning by Senate Judiciary Committee exposes what Senator Chuck Grassley called, quote, one of the biggest political scandals and cover-ups in American history, unquote. In this appendix to John Durham's report, the foreign sources that predicted the FBI would launch Crossfire Hurricane were directly tied to George Soros's Open Society Foundation. This means that before the Obama FBI ever launched its investigation into the Trump-Russia collusion, Soros's Open Society sparked that investigation. We now return to the Charlie Kirk program.
You're listening to the future of America, and the future is bright. Here is Charlie Kirk.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. Email us, as always, freedom@charliekirk.com. In just a second, we have Senator Moreno about the hate crime that happened in Ohio. We'll talk to him in just a second. I want to remind you guys, one of the reasons we're able to reach the next generation so successfully is we have embraced using TikTok. We were skeptical at first, but as you know, we reach billions and billions of views on TikTok. Right now, over 7.5 million businesses in America are thriving on TikTok, businesses that employ more than 28 million people, like Dan O Seasoning from Kentucky, who used TikTok to reach new customers and grow from a one-man show to 45 people. Or Arizona Taco King in Arizona, able to employ over 28 people and pay them well thanks to foot traffic that TikTok brings in. Or Sheen Mechanic in Georgia, who expanded her auto shop and hired new employees with the support that she found on TikTok. Their success means jobs, support for families, and stronger local economies. Go to TikTokeconomicimpact.com. That is TikTokeconomicimpact.com. Learn more about TikTok's contribution to the U.S. economy at TikTokeconomicimpact.com. Joining us now is a phenomenal man who I believe is the senior senator from Ohio. It's funny how that all worked out. Senator Bernie Moreno. We were behind Senator Moreno from the primary. Senator is chuckling because I guess you are the senior senator, aren't you, sir?
Yeah, thanks to our previously junior senator became the senior senator when I beat Sherrod Brown. And then he went off somewhere. I think he's in the White House, I've heard, being vice president. So that made me the senior senator.
Well, you're doing a phenomenal job, Bernie. We've known each other for a while. We met each other, I think, in an elevator at the Republican National Convention in 2016, and we've been friends ever since. So, Senator, let's get down straight to business here. What happened on the streets of Cincinnati? What is the significance of it? And you've been speaking out a lot about it, to your credit, Senator.
Well, let me go through the beginning because, Charlie, it's worse than you think. So here's what happened. I'm going to start with Holly. She doesn't want her last name used for obvious reasons. She has a special needs child that she's been taking care of. She's about my age, so she's not a spring chicken. Wanted a nice night out with some friends. So two couples went to downtown Cincinnati. They had a great time. As they were leaving the place, they basically got attacked by a crazy mob of people. She's, again, a middle-aged woman. She's not participating in any of this. In fact, she's trying to stop it, as you can see in the video. A gentleman basically knocked her out. If you look at the video, you actually think he may have killed her. He hit her so hard. And she woke up, pool of blood. In fact, one of the things, Charlie, she kept saying to me was so much blood. She's there passed out in the video. She's saying so much blood. She wakes up. There's one police officer there that came towards the end of this 10 or 15 minute engagement. No statement, no, hey, what happened? No police report. And ready for this one, Charlie? She took an Uber home. Nobody called an ambulance. Nobody called 911. She got an Uber and went home. Of course, when she got home, she realized the magnitude of her injuries, checked herself into the hospital. She had sent me the pictures that I posted yesterday. She had sent those to me on Sunday. I didn't want to put those out there because, look, nobody wants to see pictures of yourself like that. But the way the city leaders, quote unquote, were portraying this, let me go through it. Number one, the congressman, Greg Landsman, no commentary at all. Charlie, you know what he was tweeting about for the last week? Ukraine. We have to send more money to Ukraine. Yep. That's his entire being is, let's take all American money and send it to Ukraine. No comment about the fact that this woman, his constituent, almost got killed. The mayor attended a Misfit Mayors Conference in Cleveland and then took off for Canada. You can't make this up, Charlie. The guy, I don't even think is back in Cincinnati yet. He is in Canada. Issued no statements until Monday. It was some poll-tested garbage. Then you look at the police chief. What does the police chief say? What she could have said was that the city of Cincinnati does not have enough funding and they're 200 police officers short. And then when police do arrest criminals, they're immediately released. She could have said that, but because she's a political hack, what does she do? She blames social media. That's the problem. Now, she's not the worst, Charlie. Let me keep going. Then you got the county prosecutor, a complete dope named Connie Pillage. She replaced a phenomenal prosecutor that we used to have in Hamilton County. What happened? They arrest the guy who almost murdered this woman, this completely innocent woman that did nothing other than attend dinner with friends on a Friday night. They got the guy. He has a previous gun charge, Charlie. He is out immediately, thanks to her, on $400 in bail. Now, I saved the best for last, Charlie. City council member Victoria Parks. What a beauty she is. What did she say? That the people who got beaten, the people who almost got killed, Holly, who is now having trouble breathing, has a concussion, has now been to the hospital 3 different times, they deserved the beating they got. She made those statements. She says she stands by those statements, and she's currently an elected official in the city of Cincinnati.
I mean, this is like breathtaking stuff. And so I just want to I don't like doing this, Senator, but it's necessary. The reason they're acting this way is because it was an all-black mob attacking white victims. That's why they're doing this. And again, I don't like racializing these situations, but the obvious is, imagine if it was a white mob beating up 3 blacks. I mean, this would be the biggest story on the planet, with all we would be talking about. And you just went through a leader that says they deserve it. And so it seems as if they want criminals on the street terrorizing the public. That is the goal. White people get shamed about white mob violence from 100 years ago. Put 478 up on screen. These are 2 of the attackers that went up against the young lady. The dude on the left is the one that hit Holly. Senator, are we going to see from the Department of Justice federal hate crime charges here?
So I talked to all the victims on Sunday in depth, what happened, walked me through every minute of it. So the 4 gentlemen plus Holly, they feel that they were targeted because of their race. And let's erase the race. It doesn't matter if they're white or black. Targeting somebody because of their race is illegal in this country. Thank God.
That's exactly right. Yes. And it's time for us to enforce it against. Go ahead.
Anybody.
Keep going. Yes.
Yeah, anybody. So I, as you know, Pam Bondi is a dear friend, phenomenal attorney general. Kash Patel is a dear friend. Reached out to both of them and say, hey, look, I can't trust the local political leadership here to do the right thing. Can you poke in and see what's going on? To their credit, Attorney General Pam Bondi jumped out immediately. Harmeet Dillon has been all over this, has spoken to the victims, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. Look, if you target somebody and inflict harm on somebody because of race, you're going to go to jail for a long time in this country. And if we don't respect that level of civil rights authority in this country, we're in deep trouble. So what I've done today, Charlie, is I reached out via letter to the city council and the mayor, hopefully he gets back from Canada at some point, and said, look, you have 30 days to put together a plan in which you're going to ensure that you protect the civil rights of your citizens. By the way, basic element of their job. If they don't do that or fail to submit an adequate plan, I'm going to send a letter to the President of the United States and ask him to suspend all federal funding from all agencies to the city of Cincinnati, as much as that would kill me to do that, because I want Cincinnati to thrive. But these political leaders cannot get away with allowing somebody like Holly to almost be murdered on the streets. And Charlie, did I mention she went home in a freaking Uber? This lady had blood all over her, concussion. She went home in an Uber because the police are so demoralized. It's crazy. I mean, if that was your mom, Charlie.
Well, hold on. Yeah, so they're demoralized, but honestly, let's be honest, they didn't want to get near a black mob because they didn't want to be called racist. They don't want to get in the way of a black mob wilding. That's the truth here. There were 200 police officers. The 200 police officers didn't intervene because when you intervene with blacks committing crimes in the streets, there's a chance that you as a police officer could lose your job and your pension. So basically, because of this, we have a bunch of police officers that sat and spectated on a woman that was nearly beat to death, who was lucky to be alive and had to Uber home afterwards because the police were afraid of interrupting a black night out, basically. The black night out, let's go hunt down a bunch of whites. It's called wilding, happens all the time. And we're still living under the consent decrees of the Obama era. I want to play cut 479. This is the Cincinnati police chief. There were 200 police there that sat idly by while a white lady was beat to a pulp by a black mob. Play cut 479.
Social media and journalism and the role it plays in this incident. And yes, guys, that's you. That is you. Social media, the post that we've seen, does not depict the entire incident. That is one version of what occurred. At times, social media and mainstream media and their commentaries are a misrepresentation of the circumstances surrounding any given event. What that does, that causes us some difficulties in thoroughly investigating the activity and enforcing the law.
Sure, and I just want to make sure the facts are correct.
Holly got injured because of
Senator, we want to see a colorblind society and have these laws enforced equally. Senator, final thoughts.
Look, Charlie, we're not going to let this stand. I'm going to stay on this story. I don't want any more situations like Holly. We're going to go after these political leaders. We eventually have to replace them, but in the meantime, we have to get them to do their damn job.
Senator, thank you so much. Again, we want to have the laws enforced equally. Thank you for basically fulfilling the whole mandate that we don't care about the color of your skin. We care about the content of your character. And if you're hunting down people, the content of your character is not so good. Senator, God bless you. Thank you for doing so well representing the people of Ohio. Talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Very grateful for his leadership. I want to make sure I clarify what I said. The police force is down 200 people, but there were police nearby that did not intervene. That is correct. I don't know if there were 200 police officers nearby, but there were police officers that were nearby that did not intervene. It's a remarkable story, but again, let's repeat why the police officers did not intervene. The police officers were likely not to intervene because when, a group of blacks are prowling around going wilding, which is what they were likely doing, again, that is part of urban black culture, wilding, where you go, that's what happened in the Central Park 5 situation. They were wilding throughout that entire night. And so they go out and they say, let's go attack some white folks. And some, by the way, some gangs actually look at that as, hey, you have to go attack a white person and you get your little teardrop beneath, little tattoo teardrop. And so the police, if you get in the way of a black mob and you're a police officer, you could lose your pension. How dare you stop it? And so a white girl was beat to a pulp. She's lucky to be alive. And again, if you are a police officer and you get in the way of a black group, you could go to prison. You could be compared to George Floyd or to Ferguson. So police officers are just going to watch and stand by. You could get dragged through years of court. So police officers are more likely to watch a black mob attack a white because they don't want to lose their pension. You see, you tracking here? It's more than a demoralized police force. It's more than that. It's partially. It's a paralyzed police force because of racial politics. Alan Jackson Ministries. I'm going to be speaking at the Culture and Christianity event. I'll be speaking at the Culture and Christianity Conference at World Outreach Church just south of Nashville, Tennessee this September. I'm inviting you to join me. My friend, Pastor Alan Jackson, organized this conference so we can address the issues we're facing in today's culture. Go to alanjackson.com/Charlie. Join me, Pastor Alan, Sage Steele, Dr. Bill Lyle, and many more September 19th and 20th. Registration is now open. Find boldness so you can defend your faith with confidence and compassion. Go to alanjackson.com. That is alanjackson.com. So check it out right now. alanjackson.com. So check it out right now. alanjackson.com/Charlie. The Cincinnati story is horrifying. I've not seen anything like it in quite some time. Email us freedom@charliekirk.com. We'll be right back.
Yep, your worst nightmare. Your car broke down. Now you're worried if it's going to cost you a fortune in repair bills. Unless you already called CarShield, the legit #1 auto protection company in the country. When you're protected with a plan through CarShield, the process is smooth like ice and done in as little as 3 steps. 1. First, the tow truck takes your car to the shop. The cost of towing covered when you got a plan through CarShield. Next, you probably need to get around while your vehicle's being repaired, right? 2, plans through CarShield have rental car options too. Then comes the best part. 3, when you pick up your vehicle, you don't have a big repair bill to worry about. CarShield administrators get your covered repairs paid directly to the shop, so you're back on the road with no worries. Call now to get an affordable plan through CarShield for your vehicle before it's too late. When you call CarShield, whether you got a small problem like a power window motor that could cost a few $100s, or a big problem like an engine or transmission that could cost you thousands of dollars, you're taken care of. CarShield is the #1 auto protection company in the country, and their administrators have paid out more than $1 billion in auto repairs. That's billion with a B. CarShield is the choice that gives you the CarShield guarantee. Your rate never goes up, and your coverage never goes down, no matter how many claims you have. Look, it's inevitable. As your car or truck ages, the parts and components are gonna fail. It's not worth the risk. Call CarShield now.
Waiting until your car breaks down is too late. Call CarShield for coverage on up to 5,000 parts and get the CarShield guarantee, where your rate never goes up and your coverage never goes down, no matter how many claims you have. Call 800-653-8201. 800-653-8201.
The Charlie Kirk Show, where truth lives.
Email us as always, freedom@charliekirk.com, and become a member, members.charliekirk.com, to be able to ask us questions exclusively on the show. I I want to tell you guys about, well, let's just play the Student Action Summit recap. You want to see the energy of what we accomplished at the Student Action Summit? Play cut 51. These students, every day, are on the front lines, being smeared, being slandered, being canceled, being kicked out of classes, kicked out of fraternities, kicked out of sororities. These are the students that worked so hard to register voters this last election. These are the students that start these chapters. They are the vanguard for saving this country. This generation is the most conservative generation that we have seen in well over 50 years. There's something profound happening in this country. There's something that is deep, that is larger than what the media is covering. Youth delivered the White House for President Trump. We've been given this gift, and now it's on us. We have to execute. Email us freedom@charliekirk.com. Okay, everybody, welcome back. Email us, as always, freedom@charliekirk.com. We are a fat country, and it's time for us to lose some weight. I've had my fluctuations with weight over the last couple of years, and we all need to be honest about that. That when you get a little bit too pudgy, you get a little bit too fat, you need to be honest. You need to stop eating those carbohydrates. And yes, you got to get in shape. Breaking news today, President Trump is signing an executive order to bring back the physical fitness test back to schools. He'll be joined by Kansas City kicker Harrison Butker, former New York Giants linebacker Lawrence Taylor, and Bryson DeChambeau, among others. So Dwight D. Eisenhower, which, by the way, he was one of the greatest presidents in American history and probably the best president of the 20th century. There's your thought crime of today, and one that I think we're going to be proving over the next couple of years. So stay tuned, because I like Ike, and you should too. We can learn a lot from him. He established the 1956 presidential fitness test to assess cardiovascular fitness, upper body and core strength, endurance, flexibility, and agility, according to Harvard Health. The test included a 1-mile run, pull-ups or push-ups, sit-ups, shuttle run, sit and reach. Children in the top 15% received the Presidential Fitness Award, established by LBJ. Obama replaced the test in 2013 with the Presidential Youth Fitness Program, putting more emphasis on students' health than their performance. We need to bring back the presidential fitness test, and we need to have a fitter country. Some people say, well, what about the overweight kids? Honestly, maybe a wake-up call that they should stop eating Cheetos and Doritos all day long, and they should go for a walk instead of playing video games or staring at their screens. Maybe it's a wake-up call for these kids. Instead of taking Ozempic, maybe go for a 3-mile walk instead of staring at screens all day long. Now, of course, parents need to reinforce this, but we need to culturally promote the idea that fitness is good. And President Trump bringing this back, by the way, President Trump is in great shape for nearly 80 years old. I mean, he's in phenomenal, considering 80 years old, he does pretty well. But going more broadly to the entire society, regardless of who the president actually does this, being fit and thin is better than being fat and out of shape. You are happier, you have less depression, you have less anxiety. And you look at how the nation we used to be. We used to be a sculpted nation, and now we are a fat and slovenly nation. You'll live longer. The big picture is this. The test, this is from Axios, featuring challenges like the 1-mile run, pull-ups, and then the sit-up reach, was once a rite of passage for America's youth. It was also a source of anxiety and shame for more than a few kids who ended up feeling like they weren't strong enough for the president's or Arnold Schwarzenegger's purposes. Anxiety? Welcome to life. If you're a little fat and you can't do push-ups, then get yourself into shape. Shame? Okay, maybe your BMI is too high. Maybe that's the wake-up call that you need. Maybe you should be able to run a mile. Oh, well, I was born overweight. Yeah, but you weren't born obese. Everyone has a certain genetic code, but being obese is a choice. Shame is good if it points you towards being better. Now, shame is not good if people are like using shame or peer pressure to get you to underage drink or to watch porn. That's bad shame. But good shame is peer pressure towards the good. And this is good peer pressure. If all of a sudden everyone around you is super cut and doing push-ups and pull-ups, body fat percentage is even better metric, by the way, than BMI. And that's why you should feel shame if you cheat on your spouse or steal. The same thing that happened at the Coldplay concert. Maybe instead of enabling kids to be fat and unhealthy, we should encourage ourselves to overcome life's many obstacles. Yes, life is tough. Sometimes you're going to have to publicly speak. Should we get rid of public speaking? Well, they have in many of our schools. Oh, I have anxiety about taking tests. Should we get rid of tests? Well, they have in many schools. The anxiety of a child means nothing. If you are not feeling anxious when you're at school, then you're not ready for life. You should feel anxiety on a nearly daily or weekly basis when you're at school. Good anxiety, not bad anxiety. Not the anxiety that you think you'll be treated unfairly, but the anxiety of, I don't know if I'll be able to pass this test. I remember back at Boy Scout, I used to go to Boy Scout camp every summer. And there was this very serious swimming test, and I failed it the first year. I was young. It was a 6th grade test. I was a 4th grader. And the next year, all year I trained in the pool to pass that test. And it was just like dominated my mind. It was, I got to pass that test. I got to pass the Boy Scout swimming test. And my parents were like, they would drive me to the pool. They would drive me. And all year I was obsessed about passing this Boy Scout swimming test. It was hard. It was in the middle of a lake. It was Camp Napawan up near Wisconsin, Wild Rose, Wisconsin. And finally, the next summer came. I didn't sleep the entire night, and I passed that test, and it was one of the most fulfilling things in my life. I failed it one summer, and I did it the next summer. And by the way, almost every man out there, you should be able to do 30, 40, 50 push-ups. Prior to a couple years ago, I couldn't do any pull-ups. I could do about 7 or 8 legit pull-ups. Now my goal is to get to 10 or 15. Just be in shape. Push yourself. Being slovenly and overweight is a choice. Now, you might be a little more pudgy. You might put on a couple pounds. I'm not saying that. If you're 10, 15 pounds overweight, I get that. But if you are so overweight that you need a wheelchair by age 30, I'm sorry, we shouldn't put up with that. We want a fit, we want a lean, we want a strong, a healthy, a determined country. Not one that is sloppy, slovenly, overweight, and unhappy. I'm so glad President Trump is bringing back the fitness test. Hour 2 coming up.
Selling your home shouldn't be expensive or stressful. At Ideal Agent, we'll connect you with a top local agent that'll sell your home fast for top dollar, and all this for as low as a 2% commission.
Ideal Agent connected me with the best realtor in my market, and I saved $12,500 as a result of it, and I got more than my asking price.
Ideal Agent is available nationwide, there's no obligation, and best of all, our service is completely free. Call today or visit idealagent.com.
1 in 3 U.S. consumers have been a victim of identity theft, even when they did all the right things to protect their personal information.
I thought we did enough to keep a nightmare like this from happening.
Even if you take steps to protect your personal information, banks, hospitals, employers, and many government agencies all have your personal information too. And when they're exposed, careful monitoring of your accounts and credit won't be enough.
It's scary when you think about how easily this kind of stuff occurs.
And you might not find out until the damage is almost impossible to fix. LifeLock alerts you to the widest volume of threats others could miss, far beyond what you could possibly monitor on your own. And if you become a victim, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed. Plus, all plans include identity theft restoration, guaranteed, or your money back. Call now or go online and use promo code NOW35 to save 35% off an annual plan for your first year. Enroll now.
He was only 47. Aneurysm. Did he have life insurance? Do you? No. You got to get on it. Check out SelectQuote. Trust me, the peace of mind, it's worth it.
Life insurance is too important to put off another day. That's why SelectQuote makes getting coverage you need easy, for less than $1 a day. Now get up to a $2 million policy with no medical exam and same-day coverage.
Visit or call SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Hey, Real America's Voice family.
Are you on Getter yet? No?
What are you waiting for?
It's free.
It's uncensored, and it's where all the biggest voices in conservative media are speaking out.
Download the Getter app right now. It's totally free. It's where I put up exclusively all of my content 24 hours a day. You want to know what Steve Bannon's thinking? Go to Getter.
That's right. You can follow all of your favorites. Steve Bannon, Charlie Kirk, Jack Posobiec.
And so many more.
And the best part?
You can watch Real America's Voice right there on Getter.
Live.
So join the conversation.
Hop on the Getter chat room.
Engage with patriots who are just like you.
Good morning, Getter friends.
We're breaking news, we're delivering the truth,
and we're doing it on Getter
every single day.
So don't wait. Download the Getter app now.
Sign up for free and be part of the movement.
It isn't just an app. It isn't just a social media platform. It's a community.
I'm Bo Davidson with your Real America's Voice headlines. Monday's attack in Manhattan that killed 4 people shook New York to its core. I'm joined by our correspondent David Zier, who went to 345 Park Avenue to talk to people on the scene. And we want to play some of that video right now of those involved and how it affected them. And then, David, we will talk on the other side.
Do you work in Manhattan?
I do, right up the block here.
You know anybody who worked at 345 Park?
My wife.
Really?
Yes.
Was she in the building at the time?
We were very lucky. We left about an hour before everything happened.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Still shaking up.
That's extraordinary. Do you care to share any thoughts on the shooting yesterday in the building?
It was very crazy, you know.
Yeah. Where are you from? What part of the city?
I'm from Westchester.
Okay.
Yeah, but
do you commute?
Yeah, it's only 30 minutes.
You work in an office building?
Yeah, I work just right there on Park Avenue. So, you know, it's very, I was scared, you know. Very scary for me. It's New York. Everywhere is crazy, so you just have to protect
Watch your
yourself.
6. Head on a swivel.
Head on a swivel.
Stay away from the Gap.
Stay away from the Gap.
All right.
And keep that head on a swivel.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, today. You're the most winningest high school coach in New York City history.
Well, I have to add to that. I'm the winningest basketball coach in New York City history, and that includes NBA and college.
Wow. Were you in the area yesterday when this happened?
I was actually driving up to Harlem to play in the Smart Ball Classic, the best high school tournament in New York City. And when I was driving, the alerts went off in my phone. And when I saw a police officer shot, it said, because I've had a lot of police officers play for me. You know, I've been unfortunate in the last 5 years. I've had 2 players shot and killed, a 14-year-old in a park, and I've had 2 parents shot and killed.
What's the tenor of New York these days? Do people feel safe?
I mean, people will fake the statistics, because you can make statistics where a 200 hitter looks like he deserves to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. The good people in New York have to grab the city back. And don't talk.
Do you know anybody who works in this building?
Well, I know a lot of people in the NFL.
Well, David, you talked to a lot of people there. First of all, tell me just in general, you talked about the tenor of it in New York City. I think of New York City as being tough, resilient. Are people scared? Is there a little more of an air of fear today?
There is. People are vulnerable in the streets of New York City. Now, generally people, you know, they go to work, they do their business, especially in Midtown and Park Avenue, you know, a lot of office buildings, you know, they feel safe. They feel generally safe. They don't go on the subways anymore. You know, I have kids who live in Manhattan. They stay away from the subway. You know, but this has shaken everything up a little bit. And, you know, the people of New York City are so diverse that people from all over the place with different backgrounds. I love talking to the people. And, you know, being in New York City at the time of 9/11, you know, people are resilient and they're fighters there. But why do they have to live like this?
Yeah. It's just, I think it's probably shaken everybody up. David, talk to me about the funeral today for the slain police officer.
Yeah, well, for Diderul Islam up in the Bronx, funeral held today. Thousands of police officers lining the streets up there. He leaves behind a 36-year-old, 4-year veteran with the police department, leaves behind a wife and 2 children, and others to be laid to rest going forward. It's very sad. The New York City Police Department, you know, basically was neutered for a long time in New York City, especially under de Blasio. You know, they have a little bit more representation today. They are kind of unified today. They were able to fight back against the ICE protesters a month or 2 ago. You know, again, quality of life crimes in New York City, they have to play social worker. And, you know, with the mayor's race coming up, they're not too confident, you know, about the outcome on that one. It's a sad state of affairs in a way.
Yeah, anytime there's a slain police officer, those who serve and protect it, it has a tremendous impact. David, talk about the impact on the beefed up security situation in Manhattan. You mentioned this is a place where a lot of office buildings are. What's going to happen with that? Are we going to need more people, more security officers in these buildings?
Well, after 9/11, there were a lot of security measures in the major office buildings, right? You know, if I go to studios in New York City, it's very hard to get upstairs. But there's a lot of smaller buildings. You know, they might have one or two guys in the lobby, off-duty police officers doing security, like Diderol Islam. But this is a broad expense across the board, and only 50% of the offices are reoccupied since COVID. So it's another burden on the taxpayers in New York City.
Yeah, it certainly is. Well, David, we'll leave it right there. We'll talk to you also tomorrow. We now return to the Charlie Kirk Show right after.
Hey, did you find the manual?
Yes!
Summon Dale!
Who's Dale?
American Home Show now provides video chat with live repair experts for home fixes over the phone. Let's go fix that oven.
Okay, Dale.
Sign up today at ahs.com.
Thinking about buying a new cell phone? Think AMAC. AMAC members have access to special pricing on talk, text, and data plans for as little as $10 per month. It's one of the many ways joining AMAC can save you money on everyday things. But that's not all AMAC has to offer. AMAC is America's leading conservative advocacy and benefits organization, guided by the principles of faith, family, and freedom. So when it comes to saving money on cell phones and service, think AMAC.
Is your body ready for summer?
We're gonna build a body you can be proud of. You just give me 30 minutes a day for 21 days, and I promise you, the weight will come off.
This is 21 Day Fix, the perfect program to get you summer ready.
I am in perfect shape for my bikini.
I had that sexy little beef.
Get simple fitness, simple nutrition, fast results in just 21 days.
Get ready for summer with 21 Day Fix. This week, try it free at 21dayfix.com. That's 21dayfix.com.
The bathroom of your dreams is only a phone call away with BCI Bath and Shower. We can make your ordinary bath and shower extraordinary. This is not a cookie cutter design. This is a complete custom build that will fit your every need, and discounts for seniors and military.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. Email us, as always, freedom@charliekirk.com. For years, Democrats have pushed the boundaries in the pursuit of power. This story is very interesting, what we're out to focus on in Texas, because it's consistent with the Senate parliamentarian story. It's consistent with the Senate blue slip story, the Senate rules story. While the Democrats have gone full throttle to destroy the United States, we have always been, we take the high road of virtue and tradition, while they are crushing us. Well, no more. Texas is fighting back. Almost every major Democrat swing state has gerrymandered, not the swing state, but home state, gerrymandered their maps to be so difficult for Republicans to be able to win swing districts, like Illinois, like New Jersey, like California. Well, Texas is now fighting back. First, let's show up on cut 483. This is Illinois' congressional map. Do you see that little sliver on the right hand of your screen, the screen on the right? That's a congressional district. They're leveraging racial grievances and civil rights law to be able to gerrymander Republicans out of any representation in Illinois. And you can see it has worked. Illinois had more Republican congressmen than Democrat congressmen a decade ago. Well, they made quick work of that. Well, joining us now is Abraham George. He's the Texas GOP chair to discuss the situation happening in Texas and the proposed Texas maps. Abraham, great to see you. Walk us through what is happening here and the proposed Texas maps. We'll put the maps up on screen while you're talking, please.
Yeah, Charlie, so glad to be back. What happened in 2020 during the COVID and the census, the Republican House back then went and shored up the support for their own districts and ended up leaving a lot of open seats, basically, for Democrats. And I am glad President Trump made a call and finally said, okay, Texas, actually, you can actually bring in another five congressional districts for us. So over the past year or so, we've been working on it with RNC, and also with Michael Watley's been very helpful on this. Many of our congressional members helped on this. And then finally, we're at a place we are going to have a map that actually represents the people. Harmeet sent out a memo from DOJ saying there's 4 districts that are gerrymandered based on race, which is illegal we can do it on political reasons, but I didn't think the Texas leadership had the fortitude to do it. But we finally have a president who is asking for it, and it's getting done.
So walk us through the geography of this, though. So what is the significance, the proposed contrast between the current maps and where we could potentially be? How many seats could Republicans potentially pick up?
We believe we can pick up 5 new seats for the Republican side, which we currently have 25 seats on our side, 13 for Democrats. I think it's going to be 30 for Republicans and 8 for Democrats out of the 38 seats we currently hold. And during the census, it was a whole mistake, and the party was against it back then. Even our Texas House seats are 70-80% Republican on certain areas of Texas, and it's the same thing for congressional maps. A lot of these congressmen, they just don't want to go out there and campaign. So what they've done is they've made a 70% district for themselves, which is, giving a lot of space for Democrats. And honestly, at this point, Charlie, it's a fight for our country. And if we're going to hold the House in 2026, and Texas is bringing brand new 5 new congressional districts on the Republican side.
Yeah, so is there any fear that the new proposed map might hurt us eventually? But let me actually pause on that. Let's play some pieces of tape here. Let's play Harry Enton. Let's play first cut 451.
This, in fact, could win or maintain control for the Republicans in the House of Representatives. What are you talking about? Well, Texas has 38 congressional districts. Look at those that Trump won last year by at least 10 percentage points. Under the current lines, it's 25. Under the proposed lines, it's 30. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 potential pickup opportunities for the Republican Party. They are playing hardball at this particular point. And right now, it seems to me that Democrats are actually playing close to the Little League Pee-wee.
It's about time we start to play hardball. Let's play cut 452.
So 5 seats. What would 5 seats in Texas do for Republicans in Congress overall?
You might think 5 seats is just 5 seats. But keep in mind this. Margin to spare for the House majority. In 2020, the Democrats had 4 seats. 2022, Republicans had 4 seats. This time around, 2 seats for Republicans out of the 2024 elections. 5 seats can make all the difference in the world, and that is why Republicans in Texas providing 5 pickup seat opportunities could, in fact, make the difference between Republicans losing control of the House of Representatives and maintaining control of the House of Representatives.
This is about whether or not Trump is going to be impeached. It all hinges on Hispanics. Abraham, are you confident that Hispanics will continue to vote in a way to make these districts solidly red?
Absolutely. So we have 14 border counties in Texas, and out of the 14, 12 of them we flipped to Republican. All 14 were Democrat counties, and most of them are about 65% Hispanic population. And out of the 14, 12 of them came to Republican side primarily because Donald Trump was on ballot and Biden had destroyed our country. So they are continuing. We have a brand new elected official, a county commissioner in one of those counties flipped from Democrat to Republican today, this morning. So we have elected officials flipping to the other side because they're just saying our values does not align with the Democrat Party anymore. We want to be part of the Republican Party, and we are welcoming those people. I don't know if they're going to run on our ballot again because we just don't know if they're real Republicans, but we're trying to work with everyone up there. And a lot of these people who is being railroaded by the Biden administration, especially on the border issue and economy, now saying, yeah, Republican Party knows what we need and they're working on it. So we are going to continue to have Hispanic and Black American voters on our side in Texas.
Let's play cut 453, please.
Some voting shifts within Texas might be adding fuel to this.
Exactly right. They wouldn't necessarily be able to do this if, in fact, Republicans, Donald Trump did not do so much better among Latino voters last time around than he did in 2020, because 4 of the pickup opportunities are majority Hispanic seats. In 2024, get this, Donald Trump actually won Latino voters by 10 points in Texas. In 2020, it was Joe Biden who won him by 17 points. That's nearly a 30-point switcheroo. So this, in my mind, is fueling these potential pickup opportunities for Republicans. As I said at the beginning of this, Republicans are playing hardball. It's going to be interesting to see if Democrats can actually answer this, or are they going to be stuck in the little leagues?
One thing we are watching is if Donald Trump maintains his support among Latino voters, but that is to come.
That will be to come. It will be answered soon enough.
Abraham, so this could potentially keep the House of Representatives red. What is the process then to get this done? Greg Abbott, House of Representatives, what is the actual timeline of the process?
Well, Greg Abbott called a special meeting, special session, 30 days. He's given a mandate that he wants to redraw the districts. We currently have a map that's filed by Chairman Hunter from South Texas. And that map actually is a pretty good map. I mean, I'm not part of the process of redrawing the maps, but that new map that is proposed, it will have about 5 new seats on our side. There's 1 seat in Dallas, North Dallas, that will be flipped over to the Republican side, which is held by Julie Johnson, who is a lesbian, crazy person who really does not reflect the values of Texas. And then there's a lot of these people who are going to be losing their seats, mainly because, honestly, when Donald Trump won by 14 points in Texas, a lot of these people were being, they're scared. Now with the redrawing, I think they're pretty much done. So this is going to be an interesting deal. We have 30 days to do this. We were currently holding all of these public hearings, and there's one happening tomorrow. Once that's done, we will have the final map and it will get to the floor. And both the House and the Senate is on board with it. So we should have everything wrapped up in about 2.5 weeks. If Texas House members can get their act together, which I think they will. Democrats are talking about cutting quorum, but we'll see how that goes.
Abraham, thank you so much. Abraham George, Texas GOP State Chair, thank you so much.
Thanks, Matt.
ReliefFactor.com. If you guys are in pain, get out of pain today at ReliefFactor.com. That is ReliefFactor.com. If you've ever been in a bad relationship, you know the kind that just wears you down. You settle in, and even though deep down you know, this is not how it's supposed to be. With Relief Factor, you can break up the pain just like Anthony did. He wrote in, quote, "I was dealing with debilitating pain and fatigue. I was taking Relief Factor for about 2 months, and now I'm back to running my business, fishing, gardening, and doing the things that really matter to me." A lot of people have taken Relief Factor and they have gotten out of pain. Relief Factor is 100% drug-free and targets the inflammation that causes pain so you can move better, feel better, and actually enjoy life again. Try the 3-week quick start for just $19.95. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. Break up with pain and get back to what matters. That is ReliefFactor.com, ReliefFactor.com. Email us as always, freedom@charliekirk.com, and subscribe to our podcast. We'll be right back.
Hello, my friend. Pat Boone here. You know our country's under financial assault like never before. Our government has put us $34 trillion in debt. The interest alone's more than we spend on military defense. And what's worse, other countries no longer believe the U.S. is a safe place to invest. There's a growing international movement to dump U.S. dollars at a record pace. Some economists say this may signal the end of the dollar. Now, these countries are instead buying gold, and I'm suggesting you do the same. My friends at Swiss America have been helping Americans like you and me for over 40 years to buy physical gold and silver for delivery to our homes or held in our IRAs. I've trusted Swiss America for nearly 25 years now, and you can trust them too. So don't wait. Call or text the number on your screen today for financial peace of mind in these troubling times.
Do you have time to take a survey for our disabled veterans? Do you have time to take a survey? Hey, do you have time to take a survey? Hey, ma'am, how are you today? I'm good, how are you? Great. Well, I'm with Disabled American Veterans. Do you have a moment to chat? Yes, awesome. If you had the opportunity to say thank you to a disabled veteran, do you know what you would say?
I feel like I just thank him for what he's done for me, you know?
We actually have that opportunity right now.
Oh my God.
If you turn around, we have one of our veterans with us.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Mike. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I just want to thank you so much for risking your life for me and everyone here, and I thank you for the sacrifices you made, and I appreciate you.
You seem a little emotional. What's going on?
I looked down at your arm, and I shook your hand, and I realized that you did it at the cost for me. You did it for me, and you didn't have to, and I just thank you for sacrificing yourself for me.
It's okay. I'd do it again and again.
You can show your gratitude as well when you call the number on your screen right away, or go to helpdav.org today with your monthly gift of only $19. When you do, we'll send you your very own DAV blanket as a symbol of the care you're making possible for veterans.
When you support DAV, you're supporting veterans like me when we need you the most.
Please call or go online to helpdav.org right away. Your monthly gift makes a difference in the lives of our veterans, now and into their future.
The Great Reset stops here. The Charlie Kirk Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Email us as always, freedom@charliekirk.com, and subscribe to our podcast. That is the Charlie Kirk Show podcast page. And I want to tell you guys about YRefi. That is YRefi.com. That is YREFY.com. YRefi is an amazing debt settlement company. They are able to refinance your private student loans. That's right. They're able to refinance your private student loans. They refinance distressed or defaulted private student loans, which are different from federal loans. May not be available in all 50 states. Do you have a co-borrower? YRefi can get them released from the loan. YRefi offers a 3-minute rate check without any credit impact, and bad credit is accepted. Well, YRefi can get you guys released from the loan. It's not, again, YRefi refinances it. About $45 billion of all private student loan debt is labeled as distressed. Go to YRefi.com. That is YREFY.com. Offers a 3-minute rate check. Again, they support our campus tours, our student action summit. Go to YRefi.com. That is YREFY.com. YRefi.com. Email us as always, freedom@charliekirk.com, and subscribe to the Charlie Kirk Show podcast. Take out your podcast app and type in Charlie Kirk Show. We'll be right back. Okay, everybody, welcome back. Email us, freedom@charliekirk.com. J.D. Vance is just doing a phenomenal job. I think J.D. Vance will make a great 48th president of the United States. What are your thoughts on J.D. Vance? I think we've been on quite a J.D. Vance journey the last year, haven't we? J.D. Vance went from a freshman U.S. senator to now a primary part of the Trump coalition and a phenomenal vice president of the United States. In fact, I was just chatting with J.D. the other day. He's in good spirits, and I think he's doing a terrific job. J.D. Vance had some very sharp commentary about immigration and about Europe. Let's listen carefully to the Vice President of the United States and maybe the 48th President of the United States, play cut 393.
Yes, the Europeans annoy me sometimes, and yes, I disagree with them on certain issues, but we have to remember that is the cradle of Western civilization. The entire idea of Christian civilization that led to the founding of the United States of America, that was formed in Europe. Europe is at risk, I think, of engaging in civilizational suicide. They are unable to or unwilling, too many countries, to control their borders. You see them starting to push back against that, and good, that's a good thing. You see them starting to limit the free speech of their own citizens, even as those citizens are protesting against things like the border invasion. I want Europe to thrive. I want them to be an important ally.
This is important. We want Europe to survive and to thrive. In the United Kingdom, the government spent last year more than £7 billion flying Afghan Muslims into the country in secret. A court made it illegal to report that it was happening. Now the government is considering a definition of Islamophobia that would make it illegal to talk about Islamic grooming gangs. The flag of Islam is taking over the European continent. And they're doing this by choice. Muhammad is one of the top birth names all throughout the continent of Europe. Who do you want to rule you? Muslims do not believe in separation of mosque and state. They do not believe in freedom of speech, free expression. Many of them don't even believe in private property rights the way that we do, or free enterprise. It's all subservient to the Sharia Allah. And migration and immigration makes it possible. You see, immigration, and I've spent a lot of time in the kind of ruling class neighborhoods this summer trying to raise money for Turning Point and hanging out.
We're interrupting this program for a special live report.
We interrupt the Charlie Kirk Show to take you to Karoline Leavitt, the press secretary from the James S. Brady press briefing room. Let's take a listen.
Who made the ultimate sacrifice in defense of his fellow New Yorkers. As the funeral services are held in New York City today, everyone at the White House is keeping the officer's family, friends, and fellow NYPD law enforcement officers in our thoughts and prayers. The president has always and will always proudly stand with our men and women in blue. May God bless Officer Islam and the other individuals who were tragically killed in this senseless act of violence. In other news, President Trump's working visit to Scotland was a huge success. In less than 48 hours, President Trump brokered the biggest, most impactful trade deal in history and prevented a war in Asia for the second time since he took office. We have never had a president who wields the full power of the United States to negotiate good deals for our country and its people like President Trump. This is what maximum leverage looks like. On the peace front, President Trump helped deliver an immediate and unconditional ceasefire between Thailand and Cambodia. The two countries were engaged in a deadly conflict that had displaced more than 300,000 people until President Trump stepped in to put an end to it. The president spoke directly on the phone with the acting Prime Minister of Thailand and the Prime Minister of Cambodia to inform both leaders that unless they brought their conflict to an end, there would be no trade discussions or agreements with the United States. Almost immediately afterward, a peace was brokered that will save thousands of lives and allowed for trade negotiations with these countries to resume, and they have. The president has now ended conflicts between Thailand and Cambodia, Israel and Iran, Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, India and Pakistan, Serbia and Kosovo, and Egypt and Ethiopia. This means President Trump has brokered, on average, about one peace deal or ceasefire per month during his 6 months in office. It's well past time that President Trump was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. I know the topic of Israel is on everyone's mind. I have an update from Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, who I got off the phone with this morning. Special Envoy Witkoff and Ambassador Huckabee had a very productive meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu and other officials today in Israel on the topic of delivering much-needed food and aid to Gaza. President Trump is a humanitarian with a big heart, and that's why he sent Special Envoy Witkoff to the region in an effort to save lives and end this crisis. Tomorrow, Special Envoy Witkoff and Ambassador Huckabee will be traveling into Gaza to inspect the current distribution sites and secure a plan to deliver more food and meet with local Gazans to hear firsthand about this dire situation on the ground. The Special Envoy and the Ambassador will brief the President immediately after their visit to approve a final plan for food and aid distribution into the region, and we will provide more details for all of you once that plan is approved and agreed on by the President of the United States. On the trade front, the president secured a historic trade agreement with the European Union that puts America first and fundamentally strengthens the economic relationship between the two largest economies in the world. This deal delivers on two of President Trump's core promises on trade, supercharging America's manufacturing capacity and opening up foreign market access to American businesses. The deal guarantees that American businesses will have unprecedented levels of access to the European Union markets to export our American-made goods. Also, as part of this agreement, the EU will purchase $750 billion in U.S. energy to strengthen our energy dominance, reduce European reliance on adversarial sources, and narrow our trade deficit with the EU. The EU will also make new investments of $60 billion in the United States, in addition to the more than $100 billion the EU companies already invest in the U.S. every year. All of these massive purchases and investments will happen by the end of 2028. What we are watching is President Trump rebuilding the greatest economy in the history of the world and simultaneously proving the so-called economic experts wrong at every turn. Media pundits said a trade deal with the EU this monumental and beneficial to America would be impossible, but President Trump made it happen. The so-called economic experts repeatedly said that the American economy would be in a recession this summer. Well, summer is here. It's almost over, and that recession does not exist. Yesterday, in fact, real GDP growth in the second quarter increased at a 3.0% annual rate, significantly above expectations. President Trump's America First policies are driving economic growth, as he always said they would. And this growth is being driven by the private sector, not the government. Federal government spending fell for a second straight quarter, while real business fixed investment rose by nearly 2% following its first quarter surge. President Trump is right-sizing government spending, reversing the damage done by the Biden administration, and allowing the private sector to flourish. The same so-called experts claimed that President Trump's tariffs would spike inflation and hurt American consumers. But consumer spending growth just accelerated and inflation remains right on track. For the past 5 straight months, core inflation has come in below market expectation and remains in line with the Fed's 2% inflation target. Meanwhile, customs and tariff revenues have already totaled more than $150 billion since President Trump took office, leading to the first June budget surplus in nearly a decade. Those revenues will skyrocket even further starting tomorrow when new reciprocal tariff rates take effect. President Trump is restoring America's economic sovereignty by reducing our reliance on foreign countries, boosting investment in the U.S. to the tune of trillions of dollars, and creating hundreds of thousands of high-paying jobs for the American people. With America finally put first on trade and the largest middle-class tax cuts in history and other pro-growth provisions of the One Big Beautiful Bill beginning to take effect, the American economy will boom like never before over the course of the next 3.5 years, thanks to the president's vision. Finally, as you all know, the president signed an executive order earlier this year to solve the problem of exorbitant pharmaceutical pricing. According to recent data, the prices that Americans have been paying for brand name drugs are more than 3 times the price other similarly developed nations pay. The president is determined to solve this problem and took further action today. He has signed 17 letters to pharmaceutical companies' CEOs, and I would like to read you one of these letters to the CEO of Eli Lilly. All of these letters will be provided to you following this briefing. This is to the CEO of Eli Lilly from the President of the United States. On May 12, 2025, I signed an executive order delivering most favored nation prescription drug pricing to American patients to stop global freeloading and guarantee that Americans pay the same prices enjoyed by other developed nations. Right now, brand name drugs in the United States are up to 3 times higher on average than anywhere else for the identical medicines. This unacceptable burden on hardworking American families ends with my administration. Most proposals the Trump administration has received to resolve this critical issue promised more of the same, shifting blame and requesting policy changes that would result in billions of dollars in handouts to industry. Moving forward, the only thing I will accept from drug manufacturers is a commitment that provides American families immediate relief from the vastly inflated drug prices and an end to the free ride of American innovation by European and other developed nations. Accordingly, I'm calling on Eli Lilly and Company and every manufacturer doing business in our great country to take the following actions within the next 60 days. Extend the most favored nation pricing to Medicaid, guarantee most favored nation pricing for newly launched drugs, return increased revenues abroad to American patients and taxpayers, provide for direct purchasing at most favored nation pricing. The President's team, including Secretary Kennedy and Administrator Oz, stand ready to implement these terms. The President expects to further engage with them immediately in good faith to deliver relief for American families. Make no mistake, a collaborative effort towards achieving global pricing parity would be the most effective path for companies, the government, and American patients. But if you refuse to step up, We will deploy every tool in our arsenal to protect American families from continued abusive drug pricing practices. Americans are demanding lower drug prices, and they need them today. Other nations have been freeloading on U.S. innovation for far too long, and it is time they pay their fair share. I look forward to your binding commitments to each of these goals by September 29th, 2025, and my team stands ready to assist with implementation questions. Thank you for your immediate attention to this vital national priority. Signed, President Donald J. Trump. Again, to the CEO of Eli Lilly, this letter in its form has been designed for each of the 17 major drug and pharmaceutical companies in the United States, and we're happy to provide you the full list, and I believe you will see all 17 letters popping on Truth Social very shortly, so you can look out for those, and I'm happy to take any further questions. Before we get to questions, I do have one other announcement from the White House and from the President. We are proud to announce that the construction of the new White House ballroom will begin. For 150 years, presidents, administrations, and White House staff have longed for a large event space on the White House complex that can hold substantially more guests than currently allowed. President Trump has expressed his commitment to solving this problem on behalf of future administrations and the American people. The White House is one of the most beautiful and historic buildings in the world, yet the White House is currently unable to host major functions honoring world leaders in other countries without having to install a large and unsightly tent approximately 100 yards away from the main building's entrance. The White House State Ballroom will be a much-needed and exquisite addition of approximately 90,000 total square feet of innately designed and carefully crafted space with a seated capacity of 650 people, which is a significant increase from the 200-person seated capacity in the East Room of the White House. In recent weeks, President Trump has held several meetings with members of the White House staff, the National Park Service, the White House Military Office, and the United States Secret Service to discuss design features and planning. President Trump has chosen McCreary Architects as the lead architect, which is well known for their classical architectural design and based right here in our nation's capital. The construction team will be headed by Clark Construction, and the engineering team will be led by AECOM. The project will begin in September 2025, and it is expected to be completed long before the end of President Trump's term. President Trump and other donors have generously committed to donating the funds necessary to build this approximately $200 million structure. The United States Secret Service will provide the necessary security enhancements and modifications. The White House ballroom will be substantially separated from the main building of the White House, but at the same time, its theme and architectural heritage will be almost identical. The site of the new ballroom will be where the small, heavily changed and reconstructed East Wing currently sits. The East Wing was constructed in 1902 and has been renovated and changed many times, with a second story added in 1942. White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles has provided the following statement. President Trump is a builder at heart and has an extraordinary eye for detail. The President and the Trump White House are fully committed to working with the appropriate organizations to preserve the special history of the White House while building a beautiful ballroom that can be enjoyed by future administrations and generations of Americans to come. In the White House, we will continue to provide the American public and all of you in the press with updates on this project at whitehouse.gov/visit. And if you go there shortly, you will be able to see renderings and visuals of what this ballroom will look like, both the exterior and the interior. I have provided some photos for all of you in the room today. This is the interior of the ballroom space. It's quite beautiful. And then this is the exterior of the ballroom space. As you can see, it will come off of the executive mansion as it sits today, and the East Wing will be modernized and renovated. We're happy to answer any further questions on that, Jennifer. Since you're so eager, I will go to you, but first, as always, I want to start with our new media seat, Ben Weingarten. Why don't you go ahead, Ben?
Thank you. In light of the release, the declassification of the annex to the Durham report today, beyond any potential prosecutions, the outcomes of which will likely be uncertain, what does the president believe justice for Russiagate ought to entail? Might it include restitution for those whose lives were upended as a consequence of Russiagate and perhaps a major reorganization of the national security apparatus?
Well, I think a major organization of the national security apparatus, at least here at the White House within the National Security Council, has indeed taken place, and the president entrusts his current CIA director, John Ratcliffe, and our ODNI director, Tulsi Gabbard, to make the necessary changes to ensure classified intelligence, especially that could implement or hurt the national security of our country, does not make its way into the hands of irresponsible actors who want to politicize that intelligence for their own end. Since you brought up the declassification report that was put out by Senator Grassley today, I'm glad you brought it up, because this should be a story every outlet in this room should be covering. This is further evidence that Hillary Clinton approved the Russia hoax against President Trump. Her campaign financed it. Again, she approved it. And the FBI and the CIA were both weaponized to, as our director of CIA has said, accelerate this hoax against then candidate and former President Trump. To answer the heart of your question, the president wants to see justice served, and he trusts the Attorney General and the Department of Justice to implement that justice and hold these people accountable.
One more question, briefly,
Sure.
if I may, on a totally different topic. There's been legislation reintroduced in the House and Senate on designating the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization. The Muslim Brotherhood is considered by many to be the fountainhead of Sunni Islamic supremacism, from which Hamas and other groups have spawned, with a nexus to domestic organizations as well. Does the president support designating the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization?
Frankly, I'm not sure, because I haven't talked to him, and I would never want to get ahead of the National Security Council on specific designations. It sounds like something this administration would support, but we can get a firm answer for you. How's that?
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Jennifer, go ahead. Eager beaver today.
How much of the East Wing will be torn down? The entire East Wing, or just parts of it?
So the East Wing is going to be modernized. The necessary construction will take place, and for those who are housed in the East Wing, including the Office of the First Lady, the White House Military Office, the White House Visitors Offices, those offices will be temporarily relocated while the East Wing is being modernized.
And then on Israel-Gaza, there are some reports that negotiations with Hamas might not be continuing. Did you get any updates from Steve Witkoff on that?
I did. Special Envoy Witkoff is actively talking with our counterparts in Israel about that, and he wants to give some grace to the president so he can fully brief the president on what he's learning on the ground in both Israel and Gaza. But the president put out a very strong statement on Truth Social this morning, which I'm sure you saw, and he said the quickest way to end this entire conflict, the humanitarian crisis that we've seen, and the crisis in Israel that, of course, started on October 7th when Hamas brutally kidnapped and raped innocent Israelis, that terrible terrorist attack, is for Hamas to surrender, to release all of the hostages, and to end this conflict. And that's what the president wants to see. He's made that very clear. But the special envoy will be in Gaza tomorrow, as I shared with you previously. Josh.
Can you give us a little more clarity on the tariff timing? You said that the reciprocals will take effect tomorrow.
Yes.
Does that include the new auto rates, for instance, on Japan, Korea, the EU? Is this all coming effective tomorrow?
So some of the countries you just mentioned, Japan, South Korea, they have bespoke trade deals that the president cut, which, just to backtrack for a second, Josh, we promised that the president would negotiate with countries all around the world to cut tailor-made trade deals depending on those countries' challenges, how badly they've ripped off the United States of America and our manufacturing industry and our workforce in the past. And he has done that. Of our 18 major trading partners, 2/3 of those trading partners have a deal. We've sent out 17 letters to countries around the world. And the rest of those countries that either do not have a deal or have a letter, they will be hearing from this administration by the midnight deadline tonight. So yes, tomorrow, August 1st, the reciprocal rates will be going into effect. If more deals are cut between now and midnight, I will never count out the president. You've seen him do it before. He cut 3 deals in one day very recently. So we'll see what happens. I do know foreign leaders are ringing his phone, realizing this deadline is a real thing for them tomorrow, and they're bringing offers to the table.
And we were reporting that the president wants to meet David Solomon of Goldman Sachs today. Can you say what they'll discuss, if anything, in that meeting?
I won't discuss the president's private meetings from this podium, and it hasn't taken place yet unless he gives me liberty to do so.
And finally, have you talked with the president about his position on the stock trading ban bill before Congress? He obviously had pretty loaded comments about Senator Hawley. There's some reporting that they've since spoken. What is his position on the current status of that bill?
The president has spoken to Senator Hawley, who called him, and the president took that call. As the president said in the Roosevelt Room yesterday, conceptually, he of course supports the idea of ensuring that members of Congress and United States senators who are here for public service cannot enrich themselves. And the reason that this idea to put a ban on stock trading for members of Congress is even a thing is because of Nancy Pelosi. I mean, she is rightfully criticized because she makes, I think, $174,000 a year, yet she has a net worth of approximately $413 million. In 2024, Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio, this was a fascinating statistic to me, grew 70% in 1 year in 2024, and her portfolio outperformed every single large hedge fund in that same year, and even more than doubled the returns of Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway. So I think the president stands with the American people on this. He doesn't want to see people like Nancy Pelosi enriching themselves off of public service and ripping off their constituents in the process. As for the mechanics of the legislation and how it will move forward, the White House continues to be in discussions with our friends on Capitol Hill. Emily, in a new seat today.
Thanks, Karoline. I wanted to ask about this report that the president wants to host a G20 meeting at Trump Durrell. How is he going to do that, considering all the preparations that have been going on in South Africa? And also, would that be seen as his businesses possibly profiting from hosting this kind of meeting?
I would reject that premise entirely. We have announcements and details forthcoming on the G20, but my understanding is no firm announcement is ready to be made at this time. I did see the report, but we're not in a place to confirm it just yet.
Michelle? Just on the tariffs, what are the logistics for imposing those? Does the president have to sign an executive order tonight? What's the timing on that?
Yes, and he will be signing an executive order at some point this afternoon or later this evening. And as always, we'll keep you posted when that happens, and it will be released from our office.
And there's some of these countries that have they all had contact with U.S. officials, or are there some countries that are going to get letters that have had no opportunity to negotiate with the United States?
Well, there's a lot of countries that I know have reached out. I believe it's upwards of 200 countries around the world have reached out to the trade and tariff team. Of course, as I said previously and the president said, we're going to prioritize our key trading partners, which we have done. Like I said, of the 18, 2/3 of those we have cut these tailor-made deals with. But I do know that the trade team has been working around the clock to try to be in correspondence with as many countries as possible. But if they haven't heard from us yet, they will in the form of a letter or an executive order by midnight tonight. We'll go to the back. Sure, go ahead. In the back left.
Thank you.
Amanda, yes.
Thank you very much. I have a ask about the U.S.
Amanda, you can go on.
U.S. and South Korea tariff negotiations. At the tariff negotiation between South Korea and the United States concluded yesterday. President Trump stated on his SNS, Truth Social, that he would announce the specific details of the investment in the United States at the South Korea-United States summit in 2 weeks. My question is this tariff negotiation a final agreement, or is further negotiation necessary?
Well, yes, as you know, the president met with representatives of the Republic of South Korea here at the White House yesterday, and they did, in fact, reach a deal. And South Korea will pay a 15% tariff rate, including 15% on autos, while providing historic market access to American goods like autos and rice. Korea will purchase $100 billion in American energy by 2028. And the centerpiece of this deal is that South Korea has agreed to invest $350 billion at the president's direction to revitalize American industry. 90% of those profits will go to the United States government to help pay down our debt and for other matters at the president's choosing. So it was a very successful meeting yesterday.
When it's set up the further U.S.-South Korea summit day?
I'll get you something on that. I don't have it at my fingertips. Okay, Amanda.
Thank you, Karoline. There are a number of congressional Republicans who have raised the alarm about the fact that roughly 80% of pharmaceuticals are either manufactured or their precursors are manufactured in either China or India. There are some pieces of legislation, some recommendations, which include either onshoring, nearshoring, or friendshoring, those components of that. Do you know if the president intends to throw the weight of the executive behind that?
I don't have any updates for you at this time. I do have an update on our EU trade deal. I stand corrected. It's not $60 billion in investments. It's $600 billion in investments. I want to make that very clear. And I personally watched the president behind closed doors with the European president in Scotland negotiating this deal. And he got the most juice out of that squeeze that he could. And he was constantly looking out for America's interests. So I just wanted to clarify that one point. Deanna.
Thanks, Caroline. For the countries that don't have a deal yet, should we be looking at the April 2nd chart at all? Or is he negotiating and talking about having a set tariff rate, 10%, 20%?
Those discussions are taking place with the trade team today, and again, we'll provide further guidance with that executive order once it is signed, and the answer to that question will be in that executive order.
Is he looking to provide any more extensions today after his phone call with Mexico? Is there any other conversations like that?
I do know that other foreign leaders around the world have reached out, and if the president decides to share the conclusions of those calls with all of you, he will do so himself. But I do want to reiterate what the president said about Mexico. Mexico is still paying tariffs. They're paying a 25% tariff on fentanyl, 25% tariff on cars, a 50% tariff on steel, aluminum, and copper. And additionally, Mexico has agreed to immediately terminate its non-tariff trade barriers, of which there are many. And as the president said, we will continue to talk to Mexico over the next 90 days with the goal of signing a larger trade deal. The key to this, again, is Mexico has agreed to terminate those non-tariff barriers and to continue to work with us in good faith. Mexico is a very unique situation of all the other countries around the world because, of course, we share our southern border with Mexico, which we've seen an increase in cooperation between Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum and our administration on clamping down on drug trafficking and human trafficking at the southern border. We appreciate those efforts and will continue to work in good faith and to continue to have these trade discussions as well. Joey.
Yeah, thanks, Caroline. Just clarifying on a previous question. President Trump has indicated he's been looking at either 15% or 20% baseline universal tariff. Has he landed on one of those yet?
I won't get ahead of the president on that baseline announcement.
And then secondly, what did Treasury Secretary Vance mean yesterday when he called the new Trump accounts for newborns a, quote, backdoor to privatizing Social Security? Does the administration view this new Trump accounts as a way to, in the long term, perhaps privatize Social Security?
What the Secretary of Treasury was saying and what this administration believes is that these Trump newborn accounts, which is an incredibly creative and great provision that was in the One Big Beautiful Bill for newborn babies and families and future generations of Americans, will help supplement, not substitute, Social Security. The Trump administration is wholeheartedly committed to protecting Social Security. The president did it in his first term. He's doing it again in this term. But these newborn accounts are another revenue stream for young people to watch their money grow throughout their lives and to one day be able to access those funds so they can hopefully build a home and live the American dream. Jake.
Just one follow-up on tariffs and then one not. Is the president at all considering extending the August 12th China deadline at all? Is that in consideration?
So, look, on China, you heard from the president on Air Force One when we were returning from Scotland. You've heard from the Treasury Secretary as well, Ambassador Jameson Greer. They just spent 2 days in Geneva for their third round of talks with China. And the current policy, the current trade program that we have going with China right now, as it stands, will decrease our deficit by $5 billion this year. So we are moving in the right direction when it comes to China. And Secretary Besant and Ambassador Greer continue to be in direct communication with our Chinese counterparts.
But is the deadline, is an extension on the table potentially from that August 12th deadline as it stands?
I don't think so, but I'll let the Secretary of Treasury speak on that because he's leading these negotiations. Reagan, go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline. There's growing frustration that more of Trump's nominees haven't been confirmed. Why does the president think Senate Republicans are so behind, and has he had any further conversations with Leader Thune about it?
The president has had many conversations with his friends in the United States Senate about advancing his nominees, his judicial nominees through this process. It is critical that we get these good attorneys in these positions so that we can end the weaponization of justice, so we can have true law and order in our country. It's unfortunate the Democrats are playing political games, but the president has made it clear to Senate Republicans they need to do everything in their power to advance the president's nominees as well. Kelly, go ahead.
Caroline, thank you. Two questions real quickly.
Sure.
Nigeria.
Congressman Chris Smith, Republican from New Jersey, is calling upon the President of the United States to do something in terms of imposing perhaps sanctions on Nigeria for the persecution of Christians living in the northern part of Nigeria by radical Islamic groups. Has he contacted the President yet? And do you know if there's any action that the President will take?
I'm not tracking a call between the president and the head of Nigeria. I know the president wholeheartedly condemns the persecution of Christians or, frankly, of people of any faith all over the world, but I don't have any updates for you in terms of sanctions in this part of the world.
My second question, Karoline, deals with immigration here in America. As you know, a lot of deportation has been going on. ICE has been going after violent criminals that are here illegally, and rightly so. In the midst of that, there are some evangelical pastors who are stating that it may have gone to a point of being indiscriminate and actually getting innocent people, like members of the clergy. Has the president and has ICE looked at that to see how they can actually go after those violent criminals, but also make sure that members of the clergy are still not being deported?
Well, look, the administration has always maintained the position that anyone who illegally crosses our nation's borders is subject to deportation. That's just the law of the land, and we must be a nation that enforces our laws. But the priority from ICE, of course, is to deport, detain, arrest, and remove violent illegal aliens and criminals from our country. And they have been doing that at the rate of thousands of illegal violent criminals every single week, especially in Democrat-run sanctuary cities where these illegal violent criminals have been given a safe haven and have essentially been immune from our nation's laws under the previous administration. That's not happening anymore because of this president and Secretary Noem and the Department of Homeland Security. And we are going to be a nation of laws. And as we've said repeatedly, if you came here illegally, you are subject to deportation. But the priority are those public safety threats that we must remove from our communities.
Thank you so much, Karoline. Two questions. So what Hamas hardness its position and Israel provides aid? Do you have any new information on the hostages that need aid too? And second question, we heard President Trump criticize President Macron and Prime Minister Starmer for their statement about recognizing a Palestinian state. What is the president's position on recognizing a Palestinian state? And will he recognize Israeli sovereignty in Judea and Samaria?
I can answer both of those questions for you. On the second question about a Palestinian state, the president expressed his displeasure and his disagreement with the leaders of France, the United Kingdom, and Canada. He feels as though that's rewarding Hamas at a time where Hamas is the true impediment to a ceasefire and to the release of all of the hostages. So to your first question, the president wants to see all of the hostages released. He cares deeply about this. He has met with many of the former hostages, many of the families of those who have loved ones who are still being held hostage in Gaza. I have met with them too. It is absolutely devastating what these poor people have been through, and the president is always thinking about them, and that's why he's designated his special envoy, Steve Witkoff, who's doing a tremendous job to release the hostages and to end this conflict. But the president has always said the last remaining hostages, now there are 20 living hostages in Gaza, will always be the hardest because Hamas is unfortunately using these innocent people as bargaining chips. But nevertheless, we are committed to seeing this come to an end.
Elizabeth. Thanks, Caroline. Part of the settlement with Brown prohibits it from performing transgender procedures or prescribing hormone, puberty blockers, that type of thing. Will eliminating these types of procedures be a priority for the Trump administration in negotiations with other universities?
I can tell you that ending the chemical castration of children in our country is a priority of this administration. We've talked to many of these universities about it, but the president has also taken very strong action to cut off the funding for any medical institution in this country that provides those barbaric procedures. The Brown University agreement, since you brought it up, is yet another win to root out anti-Semitic behavior on our nation's college campuses and unlawful racial discrimination. Brown has agreed to no longer allow unlawful racial discrimination in admissions or university programming. They have agreed to provide access to all relevant data and information to rigorously rigorously assess compliance with its commitment to merit-based admissions, and they will pay $50 million over 10 years to state workforce development organizations that comply with anti-discrimination laws, supporting regional economic growth and career opportunities. Brown will also adopt the definitions of male and female from President Trump's executive order, defending women and gender ideology extremism for women's sports, programming, facilities, and housing. Brown will no longer perform gender reassignment surgeries on minors or prescribe them puberty blockers or cross-sex hormones. And Brown will take steps to improve the campus climate for Jewish students and combat anti-Semitism on their campus. This is yet another huge win for American students and for those who love our country and want to abide by our country's laws. On the topic of defending women from gender ideology extremism and helping women's sports, the president will be signing an executive order at 4 o'clock today with some very famous professional athletes whom I'm sure you all know. And that executive order will be focused on strengthening athletics in our country and making America healthy again. And we are going to re-implement the presidential fitness test in America's schools, which is, I think, something all Americans can get behind. So you'll hear from the president in 2 hours, and we will see you all there. Thank you.
Happens when the fourth turning meets fifth generation warfare.
A commentator, international social media sensation, and former Navy intelligence veteran.
This is Human Events with your host, Jack Posobiec.
Christ is king.
Well, lawmakers in Washington, D.C. are actually working on